This is Kevin, Gamertag Magil, and I'm bringing you a match from WWE 12. I'm going to give you my first impressions on the game. And I'm going to be playing as Zack Ryder against Dolph Ziggler, so he can get his shot at the U.S. title. I'm going to change the arena out of one of these matches, ones I've downloaded, which look awesome, and I will show them off later. But there's a lot of really cool stuff to download that people already made. So the sound in this game gets a little messed up, but not too bad, and the video all works perfectly. And I'm just going to turn the sound down so you can only hear me talking anyway. So this screen up here is showing you how the new limb targeting system works, and that's a nice thing they've added. It makes it a lot easier to be able to target specific body parts in case you forget where your moves are, because there's a lot of different ones, and which body parts they target. So you don't have to worry about remembering, I have to go right A grapple to get in the grapple position, and then do up A to hit the divorce court to hurt their arm. You can just go right back, hit B, and then you're targeting their arm. The only downside of that one is it makes it a little bit easier for them to counter, but for the most part they just counter into their own grapple position, which is something you can grapple right back from, which in this game looks really awesome. I don't think I have any of them in this match, but there's going to be some later in some footage I recorded, and it just looks so realistic, and it's just an amazing step forward for wrestling games. And I'm really happy that they're kind of working on that kind of stuff. And in general, I think a lot of doing the moves from the different grapple positions that they have featured in this game looks a lot better than it ever has before. There I start the match off running at the opponent, trying to hit either the strike or the grapple, which it's about a 50-50 gamble. Usually the counter isn't quite as bad as if you'd hit it, so I always deem it worthwhile. Definitely from the time I've put into the game, the biggest improvement is how the wrestling works and how smooth it goes, and that's definitely something that you can really enjoy. It's kind of disappointing that there's no real status bars to let you know how you're doing. When you're targeting the limbs, you can kind of see how damaged the opponent's body is, but if you really take the time to look, he's going to counter it and start doing damage to you, so it's really difficult to use that as a reference. They do kind of give physical signs, like if their legs, they'll start moving slower, their arms, they cradle them a little bit, and if you're hitting their head, they're going to be a little groggier. But I kind of liked in like AAA Lucha Libre, where you can see the actual guy's status. You can see like his arm's green, his legs are red or yellow, so you know how much damage you've done and how much more you need to do. And I have turned the HUD on, but you have to turn like the momentum meter down the bottom on to be able to see it, which once I did that, once I figured that out, I definitely turned it on, because it's just useful knowing where all that stuff's at. And it's disappointing that it doesn't show your opponents too. It just really makes it kind of difficult to know how well they're doing in the match compared to you. Like, clearly you have a vague idea, but it'd be nicer to see it a little more spelled out. Like, it doesn't quite have to be like fighting game, bars up at the top, but at least the momentum one on the bottom, so you know when you're about to get hit by a signature finisher move before it just happens. I think in this game I get myself in trouble in the corner quite a bit, because I was trying to do the broski boot, but every once in a while I forget how to do stuff in the corner, and so I end up with just a tornado DDT. No big deal. But I kind of had that problem a lot with this game, is remembering how to do stuff. The thing that would get me in trouble a lot would be I'd be doing grapples myself and trying to use the limb targeting system, so my finger's on right back more, and then I need to counter, and I'm hitting right back instead of the right trigger to counter, and it's just, for a little bit, you're there in trouble, and which, you know, that's just something you'd pick up by playing the game more, and I don't want to use that as a complaint against the game, just something I need to work on. There I hit the Rough Rider. This game, like all wrestling games, still has some funky stuff going on it with like some graphics. Like I've mentioned how there are a lot of improvements, but there's still some of the weird ones when people are getting up. It kind of has the problem with deciding that you should attack them like they're standing up, and you'll be dropping an elbow drop on a guy who's like on his knees standing up, and just looks weird, and it's always kind of frustrating and takes you out of the game. That same thing happens when you grab people to pick them up. Like they'll be on all fours about to get up, and then you'll grab them. They'll drop flat down on the mat before you can grab them and pick them all the way up again. Here Dolph Ziggler keeps trying to hit me with submissions, but he keeps paying the price because I break out. When you break out of the submission, you do damage to them as well. So when you're doing the submission, you got to watch, and once it starts getting close to you losing it, you hit left back to break it up, and it all works out. Here I hit an awesome splash to the outside, which Zack Ryder does all the time. Okay, nobody does, unless there's usually a table for them to go through. So the match is coming near to an end soon, and I was really happy with how it ended. It's right. Nope. I get hit by an awesome German suplex. Here it is. I'm going to reverse a move. Coming up with a nice roll up. Look how good that looks. God, that's so awesome. And I really wanted to get the win with a finisher and hit the broski boot and do all the awesome moves Zack Ryder does, but I was like, God damn it, that just looks so good. And who doesn't love winning with a roll up? It so rarely works, and that one just looked really good. So this game is definitely worth a rent to try out and see how you like it. It's got all the normal modes that SmackDown games have had for the past few years, like the Road to WrestleMania, the WWE Universe, and they've added even more Create a Thing categories, if that's your cup of tea. And for the people who are too lazy to make stuff, you can download what other people have made like I do, which is awesome.